This is a list of Somali aristocratic and court titles that were historically used by the Somali people's various sultanates, kingdoms and empires. Also included are the honorifics reserved for Islamic notables as well as traditional leaders and officials within the Somali customary law, in addition to the nobiliary particles set aside for distinguished individuals, monarchs and aristocrats. Below is a list of the royal court titles historically retained by the Somali monarchies and aristocracies. Male titles: kings. Bokor literally denotes king. However, in practice, it is the primus inter pares or king of kings. The title is etymologically derived from one of the Afro-Asiatic Somali language terms for bel, in recognition of the official's unifying role within society. According to Kobishchanau, Bokor is also related to the style paka, which was employed by rulers in the early Nile Valley state of Meroe. Various Somali honorifics and designations have Bokor as the root. The latter include Bokor Tuyo, signifying monarchy, kingdom, or empire; Bokornamo, meaning royalty, nobility, or dignitaries; and Bokor Tinamo, denoting kingship. Historically, the title was mainly used by rulers in the northeastern Puntland region of Somalia. The most prominent Bokor in recent times was Osman Mahamoud, who governed the Majeerteen Sultanate during its 19th century heyday. Rulers: Sultan, from the Arabic for sultan, very common title for rulers in the pre-colonial and colonial periods, used throughout the Somali territories. Famous sultans include Fakhr ad-Din, the first sultan of the Sultanate of Mogadishu, who built the 13th century Fakhr ad-Din Mosque; Muhammad Ali Shah, the 26th sultan of the Warsang Ali Sultanate; Mahmud IV, who reigned in the early 19th century as one of the first sultans of the Majeerteen Sultanate; Yusuf Ali Kenadid, founder of the Sultanate of Hobyo; and Ibrahim Adia, founder of the Geledi Sultanate. The title was also employed by the leaders of the influential Ajuran Sultanate, the House of Garan. Gerard, Garid, often employed interchangeably with Sultan to denote sultan, etymologically signifies wisdom, mind, or understanding. According to Bassett, the title corresponds with the honorific al-Jarrad, which was used during the Middle Ages by Muslim governors in the Islamic parts of Ethiopia. Jarrad was historically employed throughout northern Somalia, mainly by the Darod. Notable Jarrads include Jarrad Didhan, the founder of the Warsang Ali Sultanate, and Jarrad Lado, who built the sturdy wall around the ancient northern port city of Zila. Imam denotes the head of state. Style was used especially by rulers in the Sultanate of Adil and the Ajuran Sultanate. Notable imams include Ahmad ibn Ibrahim al-Ghazi, also known as Ahmad Guri Agran, who led a military campaign during the Middle Ages known as the Conquest of Abyssinia, Amir, used by leaders in the Adil Sultanate. Also employed by commanders in the Ajuran Sultanate's armed forces and navy. Prominent emirs include Anwar ibn Mujahid, the emir of Hara, who built the Great Wall around the city. Royal family: emir, prince. Honorific set aside for the hereditary son of the king or sultan. Notable princes include Ali Yusuf Kenadid, the son and heir of Sultan Yusuf Ali Kenadid of the Sultanate of Hobyo. Ina Bokor, alternate court style for the prince. Court officials: wazir, minister and/or tax and revenue collector. Title used in the northern Majeerteen Sultanate and Sultanate of Hobyo, as well as the southern Ajuran Sultanate. Wazirs were also quite common at the royal court of the medieval Sultanate of Mogadishu. When the Moroccan traveller Ibn Battuta visited Mogadishu in 1331, he indicated that the city was ruled by a Somali sultan originally from the the northern Barbara region, who had a retinue of wazirs, legal experts, commanders, royal eunuchs, and other officials at his service. Other notable wazirs include the maternal grandfather of the Somali general Abdullahi Ahmad Aro, who was part of the Sultanate of Hobyo's aristocratic contingent in the southern town of Kismayo, Bokortiash, viceroy, style reserved for court officials governing territory on behalf of the king, primarily used in the northern Majeerteen Sultanate and Sultanate of Hobyo. Wakil Bokor, alternate court title designating a viceroy, Naib, deputy or representative of the sultan. Duties included the administration of tribute, which was collected by court soldiers. Style was used in the Ajuran Sultanate, Majeerteen Sultanate and Sultanate of Hobyo. Qadi denotes a chief judge, especially common title in northern Somalia, but also used in the southern Ajuran Sultanate. Prominent Qadis include Abd al-Aziz al-Amawi, an influential 19th-century diplomat, historian, poet, jurist and scholar who was appointed Qadi of the Kilwa Sultanate at the age of 18 by Muscat and Oman's Sultan Said bin Sultan, and the father of Sheikh Abdur Rahman Sheikh Nur, inventor of the Barama script for the Somali language. Female titles. Consorts. Bokorad literally translates as queen, title mainly reserved for the queen consort of the king. Royal family. Amirad, princess, honorific set aside for the hereditary daughter of the king, a sultan. Ina Bokor, alternate court style for the princess. Religious leaders. Islamic leaders within Somali society were often drawn from or elevated to the noble ranks. Below is a list of the titles most often used historically by the clergymen. Sheikh, honorific for senior Muslim clerics, often abbreviated to SH. Famous sheikhs include Abdurrahman bin Ishmi al-Jabati, an early Muslim leader in northern Somalia, Abdi Umar al-Rida, the patron saint of Hara, Abd al-Rahman al-Jabati, sheikh of the Riwak in Cairo who recorded the Napoleonic invasion of Egypt, Abd al-Rahman bin Ahmad al-Zayla'i, scholar who played a crucial role in the spread of the Qadiriya movement in Somalia and East Africa, Sheikh Sufi, 19th-century scholar, poet, reformist and astrologist who authored Shajarat al-Yakam, Abdullah al-Qutbi, polemicist, theologian and philosopher best known for his five-part al-Majmu'ah al-Mubarakah, and Muhammad al-Sumali, teacher in the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca who influenced many of the prominent Islamic scholars of today. Sayyid, title of high honor meaning lord or master, denotes males accepted as descendants of the Islamic prophet Muhammad through his grandsons, Hassan ibn Ali and Hussein ibn Ali, sons of the prophet's daughter Fatima Zahra and his son-in-law Ali ibn Abi Talib, used by leaders in the dervish state, notably by Muhammad Abdullah Hassan Sharif, historically used to distinguish descendants of Hassan Ali Abu Talib, often reserved for early Islamic leaders such as Sharif Yusuf Barkadal, a man described as the most outstanding saint in northern Somalia. Haji, honorific reserved for distinguished individuals who have performed the Hajj, or pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca. Traditional leaders and officials. Below is a list of the titles traditionally employed by leaders and officials within the Somali customary law. Leaders. Islam, clan chief, title evolved after the fragmentation in the 18th century of the Great Hatti Confederation that dominated the northeastern Horn region since at least the 14th century. A general process of decentralization ensued, with new leaders known as Ilan assuming at the local levels some of the power that was previously solely commanded by the Sultan of Majeerteen, the titular head of the entire confederation. Although they nominally asserted independence from the Sultanate, Islams mainly wielded religious rather than political authority. Agaz, generic term for ruler, used throughout the northern and western Somali territories, particularly in the Ogaden region in eastern Ethiopia and the far northwestern area. Corresponding with the Ordal region, Malak signifies war leader, historically used mainly by the Rafanwen clan that today forms one of the largest constituencies in southern Somalia, in addition to a few Sympatric clans, usually assigned to the Heribo sublineage, from which two male constituents were selected to manage the group's military affairs. Akil, from the Arabic for wise man, a common title for male elders, who are the traditional clan chiefs, used in the north, particularly in the Somaliland region of Somalia. Officials O'Day, literally elder, the most common title for advisors to the clan head or judges in Zia hearings, used throughout the Somali territories. Here Bigtai, here Bogwil, jurists are legal experts in Zia. Gertil, detectives. Garhajiyul, attorneys in Zia cases. Mokatil, witnesses in official Zia proceedings. Waranli, police officers to enforce the customary law. Nobiliary particles, or nobiliary particle meaning honorable, venerable, or simply sir, reserved for learned Islamic clerics, and used throughout the Somali territories. During his research in the ancient town of Ahmad, the historian G. W. B. Huntingford noticed that whenever an old site had the prefix "or" in its name, it denoted the final resting place of a local saint. Similarly, the ancient island of Orgawain on the southeastern Benadir littoral was named for the late Sheikh Ishman, whose tomb is found there. Surveys by A.T. Curl in 1934 on several of these important ruined cities recovered various artifacts, such as pottery and coins, which point to a medieval period of activity at the tail end of the Sultanate of Adil's reign. Northern Somalia in general is home to numerous such archaeological sites, with similar edifices found at Halen, Qaableh, Makajilain, Buko, Omboil, Alao, Hais, Botiala, Salwain, Mudden, Abasa, Maduna and Amo, among other areas.